All right, if you're a teenager who's working their first job, or a parent who's got teenagers that are about to start their first job or are currently in their first job, then today's video is for you. Hi everyone, I'm Ethan Rooshock, and on today's video I'll be talking to you about what I wish I'd done with my money in my first job and how I think a teenager should spend their money from their first job. So I'm making a bit of assumption here that this is aimed at teenagers who are working that first part-time job while they're at school, not someone that's working full-time. And so by that, you're not going to be earning $500 or $600 a week. It's probably aimed at someone that's earning that $100 to $200 a week. They're only doing a couple shifts a week, and they're just wanting to understand what they should be doing at this age that can really set them up for life in their early 20s and beyond. So first of all, everyone's situation is going to be different. So this won't apply to everyone. People have got different situations, especially with their home life. So you might be in the situation where when you get your first job, you've got to start chipping in financially at home. You might have parents that might be out of work, or you've got younger siblings, or you come from a large family where the financial position might not be as strong, and therefore you might need to start chipping in earlier. So you might need to start paying some kind of rent to your parents or helping out with bills. So this is completely acceptable, and you've got to understand is what I'm talking about today might not suit everyone. So the biggest advice I've got for kids and parents is talk to each other about your financial position. The hardest part is when you start at this first job, you've never worked before, you've never had this kind of money coming in, and if you're not educated about it, it's very easy to just go spend it all. So talk to your parents about how they manage their money. Now you've got to be careful, because if your parents aren't good at managing money, these might not be the best advice, but that's where I'd start. Talk to your parents. And as parents, talk to your kids about what you do with your money and what lessons you've learned. It just gives them a starting point about someone they feel comfortable talking to money about. Now if you're a teenager, start researching money. The quicker you learn about it, the quicker you can make it work for you. So quickly, my first job was actually at Coles, and I was, again, doing probably 1 to 3 shifts a week. So it was probably between 4 to 12 hours a week, which was great when I was at school because it gave me that little bit of balance, that little bit of money coming in. I was all right with my money, but I wish I had saved more. I know it's easy to say, but I just wish I had taken that parent's advice of save more of your money, because if I had done that, I would have just been that little bit better off when I first started my full-time working career. All right, so that gets into kind of my first tip, which is try and save 50% of your money. I know that sounds like a really high saving rate, but I think it's really achievable when you're young. If you've gone from getting no money a month to suddenly you might be earning $100 a week, then it's really easy to save half of that because you're not used to having the extra anyway. So if you can save $50 a week, for those, say you get a job at 15 through to 18, that $50 a week, while you're not getting much interest on it because the interest rates are so low at the moment, but that will be about $8,000 by the time you hopefully finish school. Now, $8,000 is a great starting block to start your financial journey at 18 rather than having nothing. So the biggest thing here is put it in an account that you can't touch. Ideally, that's something that's not even on your internet banking, therefore you're not even watching that progress of it, and you can't withdraw it at all. I think that's the biggest trap people fall into, is they might do something similar to this and they save $500-600 and they go, oh sweet, that'll get me a new Xbox, or that will get me, oh, I can shout all my friends KFC for the night. Like, you start blowing it because you've got it there. Whereas if you can't touch it, I think it's a much better idea for younger people and for a lot of people in general. So my second thing would, don't blow it all on food. If you're gonna spend the other half, which I think you've got to spend, is spend it on things. Try and go, okay, I'd rather buy myself some new clothes, or if you're into video games, buy those, or if you really want to get ahead in life, start buying stuff that will be useful when you eventually move out of home, like household goods or furniture. But if you're spending on things, at least you've got something to show for it, rather than if you go blow it all on food, you've got nothing to show for it. So this is probably the area I was quite good at when I was young, because I actually didn't spend a lot on food, because it was my mindset that, oh, once I go buy that $10 meal, it's gone. So quite often, if you're living at home, you've got food at home, just be smart. You're gonna spend food when you go out with friends and stuff, but just don't blow it all on that. Buy stuff as well, so at least you've got something to show for it. And then that goes the same for your savings, is don't go blow it all on a car as soon as you've got some form of savings. So the car you want at 16 when you get your license is probably not gonna be the same car you want at 20. So don't go spend $10,000 on the car at 16 because the chances are it's probably not going to be what you want a bit later in life. So you're better off to spend those few grand on something that's reliable. When you're young, you're probably more prone to hitting things, having those small little accidents, so you're not going to necessarily be able to keep good care of it as well as when you get older. And if you only spend that 2 or 3 grand, like we said, if you can save that 8 grand, then look at what that gets you ahead in life. And then by the time you get there, you might go, oh sweet, this car's actually reliable, I don't need to upgrade yet. So I think a lot of teenagers in particular go, oh sweet, I'll save my money for my first car. And they save, then blow all their money on that first car. So while I think you've got to get a car when you're younger, and if you're not in the situation where your parents are just going to buy you one, then it's really good that you can work to getting towards and buying your own, but don't go blow all your savings on that. And then my last thing is, be a teenager. Still spend your money. You've still got to go out. Don't go save every dollar, because you've still got to live your life. So go out with friends, but don't get caught into the trap where you feel obliged to go to every single thing your friends are doing. They might not be as good with your money and they might blow it all. So don't feel necessary that you have to go out for tea every time they ask, or you have to go for that drive and spend that money. Or when you do, just be a bit more savvy and don't go and overspend. Think of ways that you can save just that little bit. If you can save that extra 10 or 20%, that'll allow you to do more. So don't feel peer pressure to anyone, whether it's parents or friends or a partner at this age. Don't go and blow it all on someone else. So just think about it. It's fine to shout people meals and stuff sometimes, but don't get into the habit where you're spending all your money on someone else who's not then contributing back. So I think a lot of people do this with friends and with their parents, where they go, oh, I'll just keep buying because I've never been able to do it. And then at the end of the day, they've spent so much money on someone else when they didn't have a lot of money initially, which is great to give, but don't give, and then be taken advantage of. So overall, it's all about educating yourself. So if you're a teenager, educate yourself about what's the best way to spend your money and try and get those habits so that as you get older and earn more money, you're not in the habit of just blowing it all. And as a parent, talk to your kids about it. Talk to your teenagers about it. The quicker you can educate them about money, the quicker they'll be able to set themselves up to be self-sufficient. And as a parent, I think that will make you quite proud. I really hope that video has been interesting for both parents and for teenagers. As always, leave a like on it if you've enjoyed the video. Hit that subscribe button. Leave a comment on what's the biggest tips that you either knew in your early teenage years or that you wish you'd known. And as always, I will see you on the next video.